What is up, my Majin Buu crew? It's your boy, King Majin, coming back at you guys with another video. Today, it's the long-awaited part 2, and the 4K special to What If Deku Had the Omnitrix. If you guys haven't seen the original part, go check it out. There should be a playlist for this series on my channel, and yeah. I know you guys have been waiting for this video for a long time, like a few months now. I'm sorry it took me so long to get out to you guys, but I've been going through a lot of stuff right now. Mentally, I wasn't all there for a while, and I'm not sure if I'm there yet, but I really want to get something out for you guys. Okay, so I don't like to do recaps, you guys know that, but last we left off, we were at the tournament arc of the sports festival with Jin and Grace fighting each other, or preparing to fight each other. So that's where we'll pick things off. So, stay tuned till the end of the video for possible announcements. So anyway, let's get into it. What if Deku had the Omnitrix? Part 2, or the 4K special. We pick things up with Jin and Grace meeting in the center of the ring, with them exchanging formalities, with Jin saying, "Best of luck, cuz," and Grace saying, "The same to you," as they will both glare at each other intensely, knowing what they're about to fight for in this instance. As they will both look at each other, preparing to throw down, they will both transform instantly, with Jin becoming Swamp Fire and Grace touching the ground, absorbing it, being covered in a suit of armor, rock-like armor. As they would both do this, they will both come charging at one another. Jin would then start to hurl fire at Grace, as she would then put up a barrier of mana to protect herself from the attacks. As Grace would be being pelted down by fireballs and fire blasts, she would finally get sick of it. She would come charging at Jin, delivering a devastating punch to her stomach, knocking the wind out of her sails. As she would then lean over to, well, writhe in pain for a bit, Grace would then try to attack once more, but out of nowhere, vines would then sprout up, grabbing her, pulling her back so she couldn't follow up with her previous punch. As she would be lifted into the air, Jin would then prepare to attack until Grace would then light the vines on fire using a spell that she knows. As she would then let herself down, Jin would then come charging at her, throwing a fireball straight at her, sending her flying back a bit, but not out of the ring. As this would keep going on, she would then transform into Accelerate, Jin that is, and then go to attack Grace. She would be hitting her from multiple directions, causing Grace to be pretty annoyed by this, the constant random attacks, until when Jin attacks once more, Grace would then put up a barrier, which Jin would then run into, causing her to stumble back a bit, and giving Grace some time to deliver a strong haymaker right to Accelerate's face, sending her flying back, but not out of the ring. As she would be flying back, she would then stabilize herself so she wouldn't be sent out of the ring. As Grace would then say, "Style you got, cuz?" As Jin would then transform into Franken-Shock, shooting electricity at her, but to her surprise, Jin would then absorb it, sending it right back at Franken-Shock, Jin. She wouldn't be hurt because, well, this is her own power and she's basically has control over electricity, but she would be sent back a little bit by this attack. With Jin being really impressed, saying, "I thought it was bad for Osmosians to absorb energy." As Jin would then say, I didn't hold on to it for too long, so it's fine. But is that really all you got? Bring it on. I'm never gonna lose to you. I'm never gonna let you have him." As Jin would then say, "Okay," as they would then prepare to square off once more. "What sheer power! These girls are holding nothing back," President Mike would then say, as he would then say, "Eraserhead, what exactly are you teaching your students?" As Eraserhead would then say, "This is all their own hard work. They're putting everything on the line just to show the world what they're capable of." And that's it, you heard it here. Eraserhead is a terrible teacher, as he would then say, "What?" We would then come to Inko, Kai, and Gwen, all sitting down watching the match, as Gwen would then say, "Those two are really giving it their all out there. As Kai would then say, yep. My girl's gonna win though. As Gwen would then say, sure she is. As the two of them would then glare at one another, with Inko saying, calm down the both of you. It still shocked me why they're fighting so hard. As Kai would then say, yeah, I didn't expect my Jin to fall for your Deku like that. As Gwen would then say, Grace has always been in love with Deku, but I didn't think she was willing to go this far for it. Young love, all three of them would then say simultaneously. As they would look back at the fight, Grace and Jin would still be thrown down until Grace would then transform her hands into two giant maces on both ends, with Jin saying, oh, that's how you want to play it, as she would then turn to Armadillo, preparing to fight back against Grace's, well, mace arms, mace fist? Comment down the name for this attack, or move, or transformation, whatever, as they would both begin to throw down once more. The two would then be going blow for blow, until Grace would then back up, creating multiple mana spheres behind her, sending them flying at Jin. As Jin would then tank most of them without any real damage, she would then go underground and wait to attack Grace, popping out of the ground, sending a giant uppercut straight to her jaw, sending her flying at least 50 yards into the air, with her crashing down with a huge thud in front of Jin. She would have lost her stone armor after this attack, too. As Jin would then transform back into her human form, she would then go up to Grace and say, you gave your all, cuz, but I win. As Grace will be laying down on the ground, barely even conscious, the only thing she'll be thinking about is Deku. As we would then go to a flashback, when Deku and Jin were still kids. Bakugo was bullying Deku the same as he always did, until out of nowhere, a girl with blonde hair came out to save him. As she would then say, what are you doing? Leave him alone. As Bakugo would then say, you want some too? This quirkless nerd, and now a little punk. As Jin would then say, what did you call me? As she would then get a mana spear into her hand, sending it flying at Bakugo, sending him back a few feet, with her looking Bakugo dead in the eye saying, don't mess with him anymore, explosion boy. As Bakugo would then say, you got lucky, as he would then run off. As Deku would then say, thank you. As Grace, we all know who this is, would then say, oh, no problem, kid. As Deku would then say, you're a kid too. As Grace would then say, yes, but you're a crybaby. That makes you even more of a kid. As Deku would then say, I'm not a crybaby. As he would then tear up a little bit with her laughing at him, thinking he's kinda cute. In a little brother type of way at first. As Deku would then say, you wanna play? As she would then say, sure. Note this, both of them are the same age, with Grace just being a little bit older than Deku, like a month or two older than him. As the two of them will begin to play, they will soon grow into really good friends, being basically inseparable, with them going to the arcades every so often just to hang out and play games. Even one time when they were at the arcade, Deku decided to play a claw machine because he noticed that they had a limited edition All Might figurine in there, as he would then have wasted all his money on the figurine. And he would then start to get a little bit depressed until Grace would then help him, giving him a few more coins so he could get the figurine for himself. As Deku would then say, thanks, Grace. As she would then say, no problem. The two of them will fist bump, then leave the arcade. The two of them were basically inseparable, going over to each other's houses, having sleepovers, just being all around really good friends, even going to the amusement park. Grace was infatuated with Deku to a certain degree. She really respected him in his goal of becoming a hero, even finding it funny how he would nerd out every time he met a hero, or wrote down notes about them in his notebook. The sole reason she wanted to be a hero was because Deku inspired her. She had always heard about how her family was filled with heroes, saw them on TV being heroes, and it was expected of her to be a hero as well, but she never saw it. The only reason she ever wanted to be a hero was because Deku inspired her to become a hero. He was her inspiration for deciding to be a hero. As Jin would then be dwelling on this memory, she would then jump back into reality. She would look at her little self and Deku just playing. She would think of how much she cares for him, everything he's done for her, how he inspires her. Then she would then let out a large roar saying, "I won't let anyone else have him," screaming at the top of her lungs. As she would then scream, Jin would be thrown aback by this, with a bright light shining from Grace. As Jin would then say, "What's going on?" As out of nowhere, a flash of light would be seen across the entire stadium, with Grace shedding her skin and taking the form of an Anodite. As Jin would be taken aback by this, she would then say, "Oh, you activate your Anodite form now?" As this is the first time Grace has even transformed, but Jin knows a decent bit about it through her auntie and her father, so she knows what an Anodite's form looks like. As President Mike and Aizawa will be looking at this stunned, with Eraserhead saying, "What just happened? What's going on? Did she just shed her skin?" With Aizawa looking on with a glare, being really scared for some reason of what's about to happen. As Gwen would then see this, "Oh no," she would then say, "This is the first time she's used her Anodite form." As Kai would then say, "We have to interfere?" With Inko saying, "What's wrong?" As Gwen would then say, "When we're in that type of form, anyone in our family will get drunk off power. And with me and her father, of course, both combined within her, the results can be even more dangerous." As Gwen would then start to cast a spell, with Inko being really scared about what's about to happen. As Deku, Ida, and Ochako will be watching, Deku would then say, "What's going on with Grace?" As Ida would then say, I don't know." As Ochako would then say, This doesn't seem right," with Deku being prepared to step in for some reason, feeling some danger towards Grace of all people, his best friend. And Jin would then say, "Grace, are you there?" As Grace would then say, "I'm here, cuz. And now that I have this power, I'm gonna stop you from taking what's mine." As Jin would then say, "He isn't yours." As Grace would then say, "You've barely known him. I've known him ever since we were kids. I've known him for years. And you just come out of nowhere and stick your nose into where it doesn't belong." As Jin would then say, "I have a right to love him as much as you do." As Grace would then say, "No, you don't." As Jin would then say, "Let me tell you something, Grace. You do not tell me who I have the right to love." As Grace would then say, I will make you give up. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?" As they will begin to fight once more, with Grace going into the sky floating, absorbing the life energy around her. With Gwen then seeing this, finishing the spell she was working on, putting a dome that no one can see around the entire arena, so she wouldn't be sucking the life energy out of people, only the natural life energy around there, meaning all the grass is shriveling up and turning gray. As the two of them would look at each other and prepare to fight, with Grace creating multiple energy spears and shooting them at Jin, causing her to have to be hit and dodge a few of the blasts. But ultimately, she would find her opening to get towards Grace to try and throw a blow. But out of nowhere, Grace would then create an energy mace. Really, come up with a name for this attack. Or probably just come up with a name for her mace fist or something like that. But she would then smack Jin across the face, make her collide with the ground at accelerated speed, causing her to go back to her human form. As Grace would then look at her, she would smile, saying, "You're nothing without that watch." Quirkless and weak. As Jin would honestly be hurt by this, but she would then think, that's not her talking. That's her being drunk off the power. I have to stop her. As Grace would be thinking, you're probably thinking, that's her drunk on power. I have to stop her. But I've always thought that. So weak without that little watch. As she would then hold up 2 energy spheres, sending them flying at Jin. When she would dodge one, the other would come up, hitting her in the shoulder, ultimately breaking her, shoulder. Causing her not to be able to use that arm right now. Her right arm, that is. As she would then be blown back a bit, saying, "That all you got?" As Grace would then pull her hand back towards her, with an energy sphere coming up behind Jin, shooting her in the back, causing her to be sent flying down to the ground, as she would then scream in pain. As Grace would then laugh at her, saying, "Like I told you, so weak." As Jin would then get up, saying, "It's not over yet." As Grace would then say, "It will be soon." As she would then levitate in the air, gathering energy, then shooting a giant blast towards Jin, with it inching closer and closer by the second. As everyone would see this, Cementos would prepare to make something to block the attack, but he would be too slow. As Gwen, Kai, and Inko would see this, Gwen would respond immediately, trying to rush in, but she wouldn't have been able to react in time, with Kai drawing her sword and going in too to try and protect her. Try to stop Grace. As Deku would then run towards the front of the arena, preparing to jump off and transform to stop Jin, but he would be too slow at this point. As the blast would be hurling towards Jin, she would be terrified until, BAM! The energy blast would be right in front of her face, and a huge explosion will appear, with everyone looking in shock at what just happened, with Grace just laughing. As Eraserhead and President Mike would say, "Someone get Recovery Girl! Everyone, all heroes, go down to make sure the student's okay." As everyone would be scrambling at this point, with Kai and Gwen and Inko both preparing to tear up, rushing in just in case to make sure that their daughter and niece are okay. As Deku would be running there with tears in his eyes, hoping to God that Jin's okay, with Ochako following right behind him and Ida as well. As this would be happening, Grace would then say, "You should have never gotten in the way of me and Deku." And someone would then say, "Huh, I got in your way?" As the smoke would then fade, revealing Jin transforming into Chromith Stone, shocking everyone in the ring, and especially Grace. As Jin would then say, "It seems like you're getting in your own way here." As the two of them would then glare at one another, with Grace being furious and drunk off of power. As the two of them would just be staring each other down, waiting for one to make a move. As this would be going on, President Mike and Aizawa would be pleasantly shocked, with President Mike saying, "Thank God, they're okay." As they would just be looking in shock by the new transformation that Jin just acquired. As Inko, Kai, and Gwen would be looking, with Gwen saying, "Oh, thank God she got Chrome Stone." As Inko would then say, "What power does that one have?" With Kai saying, "It could absorb energy and redirect it." As Inko would then say, "That's handy." And Gwen would then say, "Yeah. For an Anodite, we use pure energy, so she was able to absorb it. So that's why she's unharmed." As Inko would then say, "Thank God." As Deku would be looking, saying, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, everyone's saying thank God right now. But Deku will just be looking shocked and happy that Jin is okay, and a little bit intrigued by this new alien transformation, with him saying, I wonder what this one can do and how it survived that energy blast, as he would be writing down in his notebook. And note this, I didn't mention it prior, but Deku has a notebook full of all his alien transformations and their abilities and such. As Ochako will be like, yeah, it's a relief that she's fine. As Ida will say, yes indeed. I was quite worried. As Deku would then say, yeah, I hope that both of them are okay, especially Grace. As Grace and Jin would still be staring each other down until out of nowhere, Jin would then unleash all the built-up energy that Grace had launched at her in a rainbow energy blast, overwhelming Grace and shockingly powering her down a bit, as she would then revert back to her normal human form, with Jin saying, you finally calmed down, with Grace breathing heavily saying, yeah, I'm calm. As the two of them will be looking at each other, out of nowhere, Jin would then transform back into her human form, with the two of them looking pretty shocked at one another. As Jin would then say, we're still in the match, and I'm out of power, with Grace saying, yeah, I'm out too. So, how do you want to finish this, cuz? As Jin would then say, let's do a little bit of hand to hand. As the two of them would then run at one another, with them both cocking back a fist, but as they cock back the fist, they will both miss, falling onto the ground, passing out, ending the match for the two of them, right then and there, with Midnight saying, it's a draw, with the two girls unconscious on the floor. As President Mike would then say, give it up for these two first years that put everything they had into that battle. Am I right, Aizawa? With Aizawa looking at the ring, worrying about his students, and wondering if they're okay or not. As we would then pan over to Inko, Kai, and Gwen, with Kai and Gwen rushing off to check on both their daughters, with Inko in hot pursuit. As Deku would then run off to go check on Grace and Jin as well, leaving behind Ida and Ochako. As Grace and Jin will be in the nurse's office recovering, thanks to Recovery Girl's help, they will be talking, and Grace would then say, I'm sorry for the way I acted. As Jin would then say, I get it. You really like Midoriya. I do too. As Grace would then say, but it's different for me. He's been there with me for years now, and you just walk in out of nowhere. As Jin would then say, I have the right to love him as much as you do. Who cares if I've known him a shorter time than you? I still have feelings for him, and I'm not going to stop just because you tell me to. As Grace will then say, I get it, okay, I get it. But what are we going to do? As Jin would then say, why don't we share him? As Grace would then laugh at this statement, with her looking back at Jin's face saying, you're serious? As Jin would then say, yeah. It'll be much easier than you trying to kill me every time I try to get close to him. And there won't be any problems between us anymore. As Grace would then say, but we'll have to get his okay first. And Jin would then say, you think a guy would turn down the chance to date two beautiful girls? As Grace would then say, Deku isn't like that. As Jin would then say, he's still a boy. As Grace would then say, but he's not like that. I don't think he'll be willing to do that. As Jin would then say, he'll probably do it. If we tell him we're fine with it, we have to come to this understanding. As Jin would then say, so, what are you thinking? As Grace would then say, I'm not sure about this. As Jin would then say, let's just test it, okay? With the both of them looking at each other and nodding. As they will have both just finished their conversation, Izuku will have ran into the room, asking, are you both okay? I was so worried. As he would then go up to Grace, checking up on her and hugging her, letting her know that he was really worried, and doing the same to Jin, with the two of them being startled by this. With Deku saying, "You're both idiots, that was so reckless," as Grace would then say, "You're one to talk," underneath her breath, with her actually being surprised about how much Deku cares about and was worried for both of them. As they will all just be staring at one another, Jin would then say, "So, better late than never," with Grace saying, "What?" As Deku would then say, "What's up, Jin?" As she would then go up to Deku, telling him, "We've decided to share you." As she would then be preparing to kiss Deku, Grace would beat her to the punch, kissing him on the lips, automatically beating, Jin to the punch. As Jin would then say, "Not fair," as she would then go in to kiss Deku on the lips as well. As they will separate from Deku, Deku would be like shocked, like beyond shocked, like mouth wide open, like he at the point where he about to pass out. But as Jin would then say, "So, we've decided to share you like I just stated. Are you fine with that?" With Deku saying, "Share me?" As Jin would then say, "Yes, share you." Deku would then look at Grace, asking her what does she mean. As Grace would then say, "Deku, we both really like you. So that's why we were fighting so desperately in the ring. Because the winner would have, won you." As Deku would be shocked, saying that he was a prize for their fight. With Jin saying, "You should be honored." As Deku would then be getting a little bit annoyed by that statement. As Deku would then say, You guys fought over me? Really? For that dumb reason?" As Grace would then put her head down in shame. But Deku would then look at her saying, That makes me really happy though." As Grace would then look, with Deku smiling and blushing at her. And Jin. As Deku would then say, I don't know about the dating thing. I've never dated anyone before, but if you two would have me, I would like to give it a try." As Jin would then say, "Told you no guy could pass this opportunity up." As Grace would then say, "You were right." As the both of them would then hug Deku in solidarity, telling him, "Go win your match, and we'll discuss this even further afterwards, okay?" As Deku, still blushing from the hug and the kiss, like bright red tomato face over here, he would then walk out saying, "Okay." As the two of them would then laugh at Deku's face, with Grace saying, I guess this is worth giving it a try. No more me trying to kill you and all that." With Jin saying, "Yeah, that's bad." As the two of them would then laugh. Out of nowhere, both of their mothers would then enter, with them just going off yelling at them for being so reckless, and for fighting over a boy nonetheless. As the two of them would be getting chewed out, Kai and Gwen would then say, "We just passed Midoriya, and he was bright red like a tomato. What happened in here?" As Jin and Grace would then look at each other saying, "We decided to share him," with both Kai and Gwen lack-jawed, but then laughing saying, "We figured you might come to that conclusion," with the two of them both going to hug their daughter saying, "I hope you guys don't regret it, okay?" As they would both say, "We won't." As they would be getting hugged by their mothers, Inko would walk in, with Inko asking, "I just saw Deku pass by. He was pretty red. What happened?" As all four of them would then say, "I guess you're gonna have 2 daughters-in-law soon." As Inko would then say, "Oh," as she would then smile and just be all around happy after this moment. As Deku would be walking out, just being like in a daze of what just happened, he would then enter the ring to prepare to fight his next opponent, that being Ida. But out of nowhere, Midnight would then say that Ida Tenya forfeited, with everyone being shocked, including President Mike saying, "He forfeited! No!" As Midnight would then say, "Young Midoriya, please exit the ring." As Deku would be left shocked saying, "Why did Ida forfeit? What's up?" As he would then go to Ochako asking her, "Where's Ida?" As she would then say, he left off in a hurry somewhere. I'm kinda worried. As Deku would then say, same. As the next match would then prepare, that being Kirishima versus Todoroki. This match will go down pretty simply, with Todoroki freezing Kirishima in the pillar of ice, winning the match. Pretty simply, I might add. Next match will be Bakugo, but since Jin and Grace tied, Bakugo automatically moves up. As Deku would then say, I guess I'm up. With the two of them both looking at each other, with Ochako wishing Deku the best of luck. As Deku would then see Grace, Jin, and Inko, Gwen, and Kai, he would then say, I guess I'm off, you guys. As Jin and Grace would then come up to Deku, kissing him on the cheek, saying, best of luck. As Deku would then be bright red once again, heading out into the ring to fight, with Ochako saying, oh my, Deku, such a ladies' man. As Deku would be walking out to the ring, he would be stopped by Endeavor the same as in canon, and they would have their same interaction. As Deku would be entering the ring, he would then see Todoroki, and their battle would begin. As Todoroki and Deku would stare each other down, Deku would say, Todoroki, I'm gonna make you use your flames. As Todoroki would then say, did my father put you up to this? How much is he paying you? As Deku would then say, he has nothing to do with this. As Todoroki would then stare daggers at Deku. As President Mike and Eraserhead would then be commentating, with President Mike saying, you can feel the intensity in the air. These two are fired up. As Eraserhead would just look on, observing the match about to begin. As the match would be beginning to get underway, Deku would then say, I'm only going to use one transformation, Todoroki. Are you ready? As Todoroki would then be preparing to use his ice. Midnight would then say, let the match begin, cracking her whip, causing both Todoroki and Deku to prepare to battle, with Deku transforming into Heat Blast, and Todoroki's eyes opening wide, seeing what he's doing here. As he would then say, so you're gonna fight me with fire, huh? As Deku would then say, yep, I'm not even gonna use my other transformations. As Todoroki would then be getting mad at this, Deku would throw a fireball straight at Todoroki. As Todoroki would see it, he would create a wall of ice blocking the fireball from even landing any damage on him. As he would then shoot a layer of ice at Deku, but the ice would melt the moment it made contact with Deku, with Todoroki being a bit annoyed by this outcome, with Deku saying, use your flames, Todoroki. As he would be getting mad, Deku would then launch multiple fireballs at Todoroki, telling him this, yelling, what are you gonna do if someone actually needs your flames one day? Are you only gonna use half your power? Ugh, you're so annoying, Todoroki. As Deku would begin to keep hammering him fireballs and fireballs, with Todoroki blocking most of them with his ice, but a few of them still landing, hitting him pretty decently, with Deku saying, one day, you might be in a situation when you need to use your flames to save someone, but you won't. So what will you do? Will you let that person die because of some promise you made? Or will you use your flames to save them? As Todoroki would be getting really annoyed by these statements, he would then create an ice wall to block the majority of his attacks again, but the wall would still be getting smashed up pretty heavily. As the fireballs would break through, hitting Todoroki dead on, causing him to stumble to the ground a bit. As Deku would then say, it's your power, not his, Todoroki. When will you figure that out? As Todoroki would then look at Deku, with his eyes glowing, and heat emerging from his right side. Right, left, I don't care which. As this would be going on, Todoroki would then use both his fire and ice at the same time, with Deku smiling and saying, let's make this a good battle. Let's end it here, Todoroki. As Todoroki would then send a wave of fire and ice at Deku, with Deku unleashing everything he has, calling this attack Supernova, and funneling it straight towards Todoroki. As both Deku's and Todoroki's attack would hit, boom, a large explosion would come up, and standing solely in the ring would be Deku as Heat Blast. With everyone being shocked and seeing Todoroki embedded in a wall outside the ring. As Deku would then transform back, Midnight would then announce him the winner of the match. With everyone cheering, especially Grace and Jin, for Deku's success in making it to the finals. Deku would then come to the stands, telling them, "I guess I won, you guys." With all of them being happy and Inko hugging Deku and crying, saying, "I'm so proud of you, sweetie." With everyone else showing their admiration and respect for Deku. As Deku would hear this, he would be getting a bit shy, like he normally would, saying, "Thanks, guys." With Grace and Jin saying, "You did good, Deku. I wish you the best of luck in your final match." With Deku saying, "Thank you," blushing at the two of them, remembering how they kissed him prior. Deku would then head to the locker rooms to prepare for the next match with him versus Bakugo. As Deku would be preparing, Bakugo would come up to him with Deku saying, "Hey, Kachan," with Bakugo saying, "You damn nerd. You better go all out against me or else. It won't feel like a win unless I beat you at your best. You and that damn quirk of yours." With Deku saying, "I'm not gonna lose, Kachan," staring him down, with Bakugo smiling and saying, "Huh," and then walking away. As we will cut back to girls, Grace would then say, "I hope Deku gives Bakugo what he deserves." With Jin and Ochako, Inko, and Kai not understanding what's going on. With Ochako saying, "Why give him what he deserves? What did Bakugo do to Deku?" As Grace would then say, "For as long as we've known him, he's always been picking on Deku, bullying him, using his quirk on him, doing whatever he could to put Deku and his dreams down." As Inko would then say, but I thought they were friends." With Gwen saying, "I think Deku still considers them friends, but honestly, that kid, he's no hero in my opinion. For what he does to people, I don't think he deserves to become a hero." With Inko being surprised about how serious Gwen got, with her asking, how bad was it? And why didn't I know? Gwen would then say, "Deku made us promise not to tell you anything. He didn't want you to worry." As Inko would then say, "Tell me, Gwen, how bad was it?" As Gwen would then say, "Bad enough that I need to heal him a few times." As Inko would then look at the arena, wondering what's gonna happen between her son and his, well, bully. As Grace would then say, "It's okay, Miss Midoriya." As Inko would then say, "How can it be okay? I didn't even know my son was being hurt." As Grace would then say, "Yeah, but now he can defend himself." As Inko would then light up by this a little bit, and they would prepare to watch the match. Note this, I know I got heavy there, but honestly, Bakugo still pisses me off. As we will cut to Eraserhead and President Mike, with President Mike saying, "Are you ready, listeners? Let's begin the final match," with Eraserhead looking all gloomy like normal. Midnight would then be in the ring, and she would announce both Deku and Bakugo to enter. With the two of them entering, Bakugo would say, "You damn nerd, you better go all out. It won't be fun unless I crush you at your best." With Deku saying, "Me too, Kachan. Bring it on." As Deku would then think, Heat Blast should work. As he would then slam down the Omnitrix, becoming Weevil. As he would say, "Oh man!" As Bakugo would laugh at this alien and prepare to attack Deku. With everyone in the ring saying, "I don't think he meant to transform into that," all simultaneously. As Bakugo would be coming at Deku, Deku would then jump back, shooting a ball at Bakugo, causing the ball to explode on contact, sending Bakugo flying back a little bit. As Bakugo would regain his bearings, Deku would then start to roll up a giant ball to fling at Bakugo, while also flinging multiple smaller balls at him, so he will be on the defensive while Deku prepares his super attack. As the ball will be finished, Deku will be coming at Bakugo until he will cup his hands and say, AP shot, shooting multiple explosions at the ball, causing it to blow up. As Bakugo would then laugh, saying, "Ha, that thing was just one giant explosive, but Deku, you got what you had coming." As the smoke would then clear, Deku will be in his cannonbolt ball form, saying, "Luckily I transformed." As Bakugo would then say, "I know this alien. I'm gonna enjoy ripping you a new one, Deku." As Deku would then say, "Oh, is that so?" As President Mike would then say, "What skill from these two competitors? Aizawa, again, what are you teaching these kids?" As Eraser will then say, Again, it's their own hard work and determination." As President Mike would then say, "Oh, whatever. But that kid's quirk, it's oddly similar to the hero 10,000, right?" As Eraser would then say, "Yes. And his daughter, which was also in this match. Could this be?" And Eraser would then say, "I'll stop you there, President Mike. There's no relation between any of them." As President Mike would then say, "Oh, how do you know that?" As he would then say, "The boy's father's Hisashi Midoriya and his mother's Inko Midoriya. It's just a coincidence that their quirks are so similar." As President Mike would then say, "Oh, okay." As Eraserhead will narrow his eyes at this remark, knowing that he doesn't want to, cause any weird rumors or anything like that. As we would then cut back to the girls, with them being honestly surprised how the fight's going, with Jin shouting, "Go Deku!" and Grace saying, "Kick his ass!" As everyone would be shocked by the fact that she said this, including her mother, with her thinking, she is her father's daughter though. As she would then laugh, with everyone else laughing a little bit nervously about how pumped Grace is for Deku to beat up Bakugo. As we would cut back to the match, Deku would then transform to Echo Echo, saying, "So you've seen Cannonbolt's abilities, but you haven't seen him." With Bakugo saying, "I don't care, you damn nerd," coming at Deku, with Deku creating two more versions of themselves and yelling, "Wall of Sound," shooting sonic waves at Bakugo, causing his ears to ring in pain and shooting him back up waves. As Bakugo would then start to get used to it, not really used to it, power through it, he would then come at Deku, destroying his clones and leaving only one of them remaining. As Deku would then say, "Not bad, Kachan, but I can do better." As he would then create a few more clones surrounding Bakugo, with Bakugo saying, "You annoying nerd." As we will cut back to President Mike and Aizawa, President Mike would then say, "What abilities! Midoriya is keeping Bakugo on his toes with his sweet sound." As he would then be really he would be pumped to see someone else with a sound quirk of sorts. So yeah. As we would cut back to Bakugo versus Deku, Deku would be surrounding Bakugo with sound waves, blasting him back and forth and causing his ears to bleed. But Bakugo would power through this all and destroy his clones. But his hearing would be pretty shot at this point, and his body would be covered in bruises. And Deku would be a little bit tired after the battle. Deku would then transform into Octaguana, shooting an ice beam at Bakugo, freezing him. But Bakugo would then break free out of this with a well-placed explosion. But out of nowhere, Bakugo's explosions in his hands would die down, with him asking, "What did you do, you damn nerd?" As Deku would then say, "Your quirk allows you to create explosions as you sweat natural glycerin. If it's too cold, you can't sweat. And if you can't sweat, you can't make natural glycerin. And if you can't make natural glycerin, you can't explode it. I've been researching your quirk for years, Kachan. I know its weaknesses." As Bakugo would then say, "You damn nerd." As he would be fuming, ultimately being made quirkless. As Deku would then say, "Now you're basically quirkless." As Deku would then transform back into his human form, shocking everyone. With them asking, why did he transform back? With Deku saying, So, right now we're both quirkless. Kachan. So let's finish this. Hand to hand. Quirkless to quirkless. As Bakugo will be pissed by this, and the two of them will run at each other, throwing blows, with Bakugo landing a few decent hits, with Deku still landing a few decent hits himself. But you forget one thing. Deku was trained by both Gwen and Kevin, which those two are pretty melee. Kevin, that is. But Gwen, she trained in martial arts, if anyone remembers, and she was really good. So, ultimately, Deku will be the superior one in this battle, with him only letting Bakugo get a few hits, getting a feel for how Bakugo fights, and ultimately, well, I'm gonna say kicking Bakugo's ass, as Bakugo will be dropped on the floor and held there until he couldn't move in a lock, with Midnight announcing Deku as the winner, seeing that Bakugo couldn't move at all and there was no chance of him breaking out. As Bakugo will be fuming from the mouth, everyone would be cheering for Deku. Yeah, with Jen saying that, and Grace saying, yeah, you kicked his ass! With everyone still being shocked about how pumped Grace is about, well, how Bakugo got his ass kicked. As we will pan back to both Bakugo and Deku, Deku would raise his hand to Kachan, saying, you did your best. As the two of them would look at each other, Bakugo would think back to when they were kids, and he would violently slap Deku's hand away, getting up and walking away with tears in his eyes because of his defeat. But Bakugo wouldn't be like crying like a crybaby. He would just be so mad he starts to tear up over his loss. We will cut to Pressing Mike and Aizawa, with Pressing Mike saying, and we have our winner, Izuku Midoriya! Give it up for the kid, you guys! As everyone will be cheering for Deku, with Aizawa just staring impassively like normal. Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo would be up on their podiums, with Todoroki in third place, Bakugo in second, and Deku in first. All Might would still come up to give his speech, giving them all words of wisdom, and ending it there for, well, the ceremony scene. We would pan back to the girls, with Deku walking up to them saying, I guess I won, you guys, with all of them hugging Deku, and especially Inko with her crying waterfalls on Deku, as he would just be laughing and tearing up too, being excited that he actually proved himself and showed people that he was there. Out of nowhere, both Ben and Kevin would come up saying, we saw the final match, kid. Not bad. As both of them would give Deku a fist bump, with him saying, thank you, you guys. I gave it my all. With Ben saying, you're a right choice for that watch, kid. I'm proud of you. As he would put his hand on Deku's shoulder, with Deku being ecstatic about this. As both Jin and Grace would go up to Deku, with them saying, we're proud of you too. Both of them kissing Deku, leaving both Ben and Kevin shocked and a bit angry, as the two of them would then go to Deku, with them saying, what's going on here? With Deku saying, they agreed to share me, as both Kevin and Ben would look on Deku saying, you better run, kid, with Jin, Grace, Kai, Inko, and Gwen saying, yeah, you should run, as Deku, Kevin, and Ben will all get into a furious chase scene, with the two of them trying to hunt down Deku to get him for, well, in their opinion, seducing their daughters. As both Jin and Grace would be laughing, Ochako would say, shouldn't we stop this before they actually hurt him? As Jin would then say, he'll be fine. As Gwen would then say, maybe. As all of them would then laugh at the situation, with Ochako being a little bit nervous, with two grown men going after Deku. Two famous heroes going after Deku, I might add. We will then pan to Gax in his ship. He'll be talking to someone saying, we must get the Omnitrix and retrieve him. As the person he will be talking to would make herself known, with her saying, my son, you go retrieve him. I will focus on trying to get the Omnitrix. With Gax saying, mother, I must do this. But do you believe that you can handle the humans? they have been failing us. As the woman would then say, I can handle them. I'll make great use of them. Gax saying, okay, mother, I will leave it to you. With her saying, leave it to me, my son, and bring your father back safely, okay? With Gax then leaving. A few days later, Izuku would have been in his room, getting dressed for a special occasion. As he would leave his room, both Jin and Grace would be in his living room with Inko, with the three of them just speaking. With Jin and Grace saying, are you ready? With Deku saying, I'm ready, yeah. Being a bit nervous. With Jin saying, calm down, is this the first date? With Deku blushing because of the fact that she used the word date. Inko would then say, have fun, you three. With Deku saying, we will, Mom. And with Grace and Jin saying, later, Mom. With Deku being extremely flustered over what she just called his mother. They will all head out the door, waving to Inko. As they would be walking down the street, Jin and Grace would then say, do you have any plans, Deku? With Deku saying, but I thought you guys said you would. With Jin saying, yeah, we took care of it. So, you ready to have some fun? With Deku saying, yeah. With Grace saying, come on, you don't need to be that way around us. With Deku saying, I know, I'm just really nervous. With Jin and Grace saying, then pretend like it's not a date, but don't forget that it's a date. With Deku looking at Jin, who had made that comment, with him being confused. Grace would then say, she's saying don't be too nervous. With Deku saying, I'll try. With them then leaving to their place where they're gonna have their date. They will have their date at the amusement park, with all of them just having fun, with Deku calming down a bit after the whole these two dating him thing went down. He would then see a hero there, being Watcher, getting their autograph, with both Jin and Grace looking at him laughing, with Deku looking back being a bit embarrassed, but also laughing as well. And they would just have their fun all the way up until nighttime. They would see a little prize game, and Deku will win it a few times, winning Grace a necklace, and Jin a set of green earrings, with them both winning a prize for Deku, a rare All Might poster. With Deku being extremely happy about this thing, I didn't even get this one! Awesome! With the two of them then laughing at Deku, saying, there's one more ride we want to go on before we leave. With them pointing to the Ferris wheel right behind Deku, with Deku saying, sure. As they would then head to the Ferris wheel, they would just be talking and stuff, noticing something weird in the sky but putting it out of their mind, as they would then head to the Ferris wheel and just chill for a minute. As both Jin and Grace would be leaning on Deku, Deku would be getting really nervous, with the two of them saying, calm down, as the two of them would then lean in closer to kiss Deku. But far away, their family would be watching them, combining of Kevin, Ben, Gwen, Kai, so on and so forth. As they would be watching through a pair of binoculars, I might add, Kevin would say, damn you, Midoriya. As Ben would say, give me those. As Ben would look at what's about to happen too, and he would be a bit miffed, because both of their daughters are dating the same kid. As Gwen would look at them both getting mad, she would then say, who would you rather them be with, Izuku or someone else? And they would then huff in a bit of frustration, as Kai said, that's what we thought. As Inko would then say, I'm happy for them, with the dog barking and Kai saying, yeah, me too. And Ochako saying, I'm really happy for Jin. As Ochako would say that, we would pan back to the three of them about to kiss, but out of nowhere, bam! A tall alien squid woman would appear, and we all know this person that was talking to Gaxus, and she would then appear in front of Izuku, Jin, and Grace. As she would look down, she would say, the Omnitrix. Good. As she would then grab Deku, saying, hand it over, human, and I will make your death painless. As both Jin and Grace would see this, they would both lash out saying, take your hands off our man. shooting the alien squid woman off the Ferris wheel, sending her flying to the ground, in a fit of rage and fury. As they would go to Deku, asking, "Are you okay?" as Jin and Grace would just be patting him and making sure he's fine. As Deku would say, I'm fine, just a little bit startled. As both Grace and Jin would then say, "Good. Now, Jin, let's go take care of her." As Grace would then say, with Jin saying, "Yeah, let's go put her in her place." As Deku would be a little bit scared about how they're just syncing up right now with their rage. As both Kevin, Ben, Gwen, and the rest would see this, they would say, "Is that Gaxia?" As Ben would then call out, as Kevin would then say, "Looks like it. Let's go over there and help the kids out. She's a tough one." As both Kai and Gwen would then say, "I don't think they're gonna need her help. And besides, we're gonna need to deal with those." As they would say, "Deal with what?" As we would pan back to both Grace and Jin, with them saying, "Izuku, you stay here. We're about to go teach her a lesson." As Deku would then say, "What do you mean by that?" As the both of them would smile at him, leaving the Ferris wheel to go fight. As Deku would be left, he would say, "Wait, why am I just standing there? I can help too." As Gaxia would be laying on the ground, both Jin and Grace would then land right next to her, with her saying, "How dare you, you human trollops?" As they would say, "How dare we? How dare you for interrupting our date?" As they would both glare at her menacingly. As Jin would then say, "I know you. You're Gaxia, Vilgax's wife." As Gaxia would smile saying, "So then you should know, you two stand no chance against me." As both of them will look at each other and laugh a little bit. "You stand no chance against us," Grace would then utter, with Jin saying, "You ruined our date. Now you're gonna pay." As Deku would then come landing down as well, with him saying, "I can help too, you guys." As they would then say, "No, she's ours." As Gaxia would then say, 6'6". As 6'6", heavily upgraded before when we see him prior, would then come out saying his normal speech pattern, because I'm not going to try and do that voice. As Gaxia would then say, "You take care of the one with the new Omnitrix, and I'll take care of the outdated model and the Anodite." As 6'6" would then say, "Ooh, chow, I'm not gonna bother with the voice." As Deku would then say, "Okay, you guys can handle this?" As they would then say, "Just take care of 6'6". As Deku would then say, "Okay," being a little bit afraid of both Jin and Grace. As Deku would then transform into something he didn't even know he had, with him saying, "What's this guy?" As both Grace and Jin would then say, "Izuku, go on now." As Deku would then be a little bit scared by that statement, but would then go on to fight with 6'6", leaving both Jin, Grace, and Gaxia to fight their battle. As Jin would then transform into Wrath, and Grace would then put her hands to the ground, absorbing the concrete and creating giant maces with mana around them to prepare to fight Gaxia. As their fight will begin, it will be a pretty big slugfest, with them all being even for the most part. As we would pan back to both Kevin, Gwen, and the rest, we would see giant robots flying at them, with Ben saying, "Oh, it's been so long since I fought these." As Kevin said, "Yeah," and Gwen saying, brings back memories. As Kevin would then whistle, with the dog transforming into a giant whatever this creature's called. Comment down below if you know what it's called, because I never bothered to learn its name. As Gwen would then say, "Oh, it's been a while since she's fought." With both Inko and Ochako being a bit surprised with the cute little dogs they saw prior, transforming into this giant creature. But they live in a world where people can grow to giants, so they wouldn't be too shocked. As the creature would begin to fight and destroy the robots, while the others watched and destroyed their own robots. We will pan back to Deku versus 6'6". 6'6" would be on the winning side, hammering Deku down with multiple blasts of energy, because he wouldn't know how to use his alien yet. As Deku being hammered down by energy balls, He would think back on the fight that he had in Undertown against the chicken and the giant warthog. He would think back to the warthog's fighting style and try to mimic it. As Deku would be getting hammered by Energy Blast, he would charge forth, clotheslining 6-6, slamming him down to the ground, picking him back up and throwing him back to the ground even harder than he did prior. As 6-6 would be on the ground, Deku would then use the whip, slamming him back down on the ground as he would try to get up. Then Deku would then jump into the air, hitting down on the Omnitrix and transforming into Cannonbolt. As 6-6 would see this, he would open his eyes in just sheer shock, as Cannonbolt would land on top of him, bouncing on him multiple times, slamming 6-6 even further into the ground. As Deku would then transform back into his human form, Deku would look over to see Jin, Grace versus Gaxus, and the sheer beating that's going down. As we would cut back to the fight, Gaxio would be shooting beams that would be tracking down both Jin and Grace, as they would be mostly avoiding them and stopping them altogether. As Jin would then move forward, she would come up punching Gaxio in the stomach and throwing her towards Grace. As Grace would see this coming, she would then pull back her fist, knocking her in the face as hard as she could with her mana-infused stone maces, causing her to be sent down to the ground barely conscious. But as she would be starting to get back up, Jin would then jump up off the tallest structure and go down for the most powerful elbow drop he's ever seen, causing the wind to be knocked out of Gaxia's cells and her to be barely conscious, beaten to the seams. She can barely move at this point. But as both Jin and Grace would look at her, they would then laugh a little bit, as they had finally got their revenge on the person that ruined their date. As Gaxio would then limp back up, barely standing, with both Jin and Grace ready to finish her off at a moment's notice, she would then teleport away, leaving the two of them there alone. As they would both transform back, Deku would then come up saying, "Whoa, you guys were good." "Scary good," he would say under his breath. As they would say, "You were too, we saw your match at the corner of our eye." "You got a new alien too," Jin would then say. As Deku would then say, "Yeah, it's like that thing we fought in Undertown a while ago." As Grace would then say, "The Omnitrix does store DNA, and it's been weirdly unlocking aliens based on the situations you find yourself in, so it's not too uncommon that you might transform into a different alien every now and again, depending on what you run into." As Deku would then say, "Oh, you make a point," as he would then start to mumble, as Jin would then say, "Enough of that. Let's go back to having fun." As Deku would then say, "Should we?" As Jin and Grace would then look at him saying, "We should," grabbing him by the arms and tugging him along. As we would go back to the fight with both Kevin and the rest of them, I don't know why I'm saying Kevin's Overpen's name, but just still, they would have already defeated all the machines, with them being a bit not tired at all, because that was light work for them, but they would have stayed back and seen the matches between Deku and Jin and Grace, seeing how they handled themselves, with Ben saying, "That Midoriya sure is good. I didn't even use that alien yet." As Kevin would then say, "He's not bad. I still don't like him a little bit for dating both of our daughters at once," with Ben saying, "Agreed." As both Kai and Gwen would then slap them in the back of their head saying, "Get over it already. We accept it, you should too." As they would both say, "Never." As they would look back at them going back to finish up their date, Ben would then say, "I'll handle the cleanup for this." As they would say, "Yeah, you should." As we would cut back to both Grace, Jin, and Deku finishing up the rest of their date. A few days later, Deku would be on a plane with both Jin and Grace, with him saying, "Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. I've never been here before. Island. Awesome!" As he'll be just getting really excited over this, with both Jin and Grace seeing him nerd out. With Jin saying, "Calm down, Deku." As Deku would then look out the window, he would see everything and just be in total awe. As Jin and Grace would then say, Yeah. Now let's go get changed in our costumes, okay?" As Deku would then say, "Yeah." As they will all run to go get dressed in separate parts of the plane. Quick recap. All of Deku's aliens: Forearms, Mustache, Fast Track, Chicken Hawk, Echo, Jet Ray, Weevil, Buzzshock, Cannonbolt, Pixie Dust, Heat Blast, and For this new alien I'm going with, I'm going to call him Warhog. It was the most obvious name, but Warhog, Feedback, Amphibian, Lodestar, Upchunk, and Arctiguana. And for his fusion alien, he will only have one thus far, that being the fusion of Fast Track and Forearms. Still haven't come up with a good name for this transformation. Seriously, comment down below a good name. And if you guys already did in the prior video that you saw this in, I must not have seen it, but just give me a good name. Okay, and for Jin's aliens, she would have Blitzwolfer, Nanomech, Chicken Hawk, Frankenshock, Bullfrag, Jury Rig, Swampfire, Wrath, Astrodactyl, Pixie Dust, Heat Blast, XLR8, and Snarrow. Along with Chromostone, Ghost Freak, Wildline, and Armadillo. And that would be it for their aliens. Back at Ben and Kai's home, everyone will be meeting up to talk about how that they just let their kids go on a trip to Island without them. As Ben and Kevin will be arguing, Kai and Gwen would say, "It's fine. They can go on a trip for a while. Calm down." As Kevin would say, "He's with our daughters, Gwen. This is not cool." As Gwen and Kai would then say, "You know who's there. Archit and Cooper will take care of it." As Ben would then say, "Yeah, we can put our faith in Archit and Cooper. You know how they are about those two." As Kevin would say, "You're right. They won't let anything go down. The only reason we let this happen is because they are there. You hear me, Gwen?" As Gwen would then say, "Yes, yes, honey." As Inga would then say, "Archit and Cooper. Do you mean Archit?" As she would then say, "Yes, that Archit." And she would say, "And Cooper, but..." As Inga would be freaking out, she would then remember the second name, Cooper. As she would then say, "Deku has a few books about someone called Cooper, and articles and stuff. He talked about it a few times too. Apparently he's like this super genius." As Gwen would then say, "Yeah, the two of them are like family." As Inga would be shocked, saying, "Arch's a part of your family?" And I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger here for a minute. As Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Kai would say, "Unfortunately, yes." We would cut to both Deku, Jin, and Grace walking around the airport after getting off their plane, in their hero costumes, I might add. Well, Jin's basically always in her hero costume, but yeah. As they would just be walking around, Deku would be looking around seeing heroes and stuff like that, and just all around nerding out, while Jin and Grace would be laughing, and being happy to be on a trip with him. As they would be walking around, they would see All Might, with All Might saying, "Ah, young Tennyson, young Midoriya, and young Levin. How are you?" As Deku would then say, "We're fine, All Might. We're just here to see the expo." As All Might would then say, "Yes, you were the winner for the sports festival, and you were allowed to bring whoever you wish. But does that mean one of them will not be going?" As Deku would then say, "No, one of their uncles got them a ticket in, so they're fine." As All Might would then say, "Oh, great." As Jin would then say, "Hey All Might, what are you doing here?" As he would then say, "I'm just here to visit an old friend." As Deku would then say, "Who would that be?" All Might would then say, "Just a really close friend." As Deku would then start to try and piece together who All Might's here to meet, he would go over every friend All Might has, like all the fanboy knowledge he has to find out who he's meeting. As Deku would be doing this, he would notice the Omnitrix would be acting a little bit weird, sparking with green and yellow electricity, and kind of teal. As Deku would then look at this, he would be wondering what's going on, as Grace would then look over, seeing the problem as well. As they would both look at the Omnitrix, it would then fade away, the green, yellow, and turquoise glow, or electricity. As this would be going on, Jin would still be talking to All Might, as Jin would then say, "Hey All Might, you here with anyone?" As All Might would then say, "Oh yes, you must mean young Mirio," as he would then bring Mirio over to see them. As Mirio would then say, "Hey, I'm Mirio Togeda, hero name Lemillion. Nice to meet you." As he would then go up to shake Jin's hand, as Jin would then say, "Jin Tennyson, nice to meet you." As Deku would then come up to say, "Oh, Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you. As they will shake hands, with Grace saying hi as they will all be talking. As Mirio would then say, oh, I remember you three. You guys were in the sports festival. You guys were incredible. As Deku would then say, thanks. As he would then say, and especially you. I saw your performance and all those weird transformations. And your quirk's like that one too, isn't it? As Mirio would then just be talking them up, making a few dumb jokes like he would normally do. As they would all sweat drop a little bit at his enthusiasm and stuff like that. As All Might would then say, young Mirio, it's about time we head out. As Jin, Grace, and Deku would then say, same here, we have someone to meet as well. As they will all prepare to leave out. As they would be walking to the airport, all of them would just decide to walk together for a bit. As they would be walking, they would just see the entirety of Island, and all of them would just be left in shock. Everyone except for All Might, as he would have already seen this before. As Izuku, Jin, Grace, and Mirio will be looking at this, they will just be in utter shock, saying that this place is incredibly beautiful and cool. As Deku will be just nerding out about the whole thing as well, with Jin and Grace laughing at him a bit. As they will be walking around, reporters will then start to notice All Might, as they would then go swarm him like normal with all the fans and stuff like that just coming all after him. But out of nowhere, they would then say, Mr. President, as the President of the United States would then walk up to All Might. What's up, Muscles? As All Might would then say, hello, Mr. President, with a strained voice. As everyone will just be wanting to get a picture of All Might and the President shaking hands together, with All Might begrudgingly having to accept this, and Arjun just chuckling a bit. You guys shocked that Arjun's the President of the United States? After the photo shoot had ended, All Might would then come up to everyone, with Deku saying, you know the President? And Mirio saying, you do? As All Might would then say, unfortunately, I do. As the President Arjun will come up behind All Might saying, I don't like you too, Skeletor. As Lemillion would then chuckle a little bit at this comment, with All Might looking back and just looking a little bit mad at Arjun for the comment as well. As Deku, Jin, and Grace would be like, Skeletor? As Arjun would then say, anyway, out of the way. Come here, you two. As both Grace and Jin would then go up to him saying, hey, Uncle Arjun, hugging him and leaving All Might, Mirio, and Deku shocked. As All Might would then say, he's your uncle? As Jin and Grace would then say, only in name, not in blood. But he's known our parents for years now, so we're basically like family. As Arjun would then say, got that right. As Deku would then go up to shake his hand and say, hello, Mr. Arjun, I'm Izuku Midoriya. As Arjun would then say, yeah, I know. You're the one that's dating both my nieces. As All Might and Mirio would then look at each other and look back at Deku, with Deku saying, just stuttering. He would then say, yes, but I have something to ask you, sir. As Arjun would then say, oh, I have something to tell you, bub. As Deku would then pull out a notebook saying, can I have your autograph? As Arjun would be surprised by this, but not as surprised as you would think because, well, President, he probably gets this a lot, but Deku would then go on to say, I remember how you took down that giant villain a few years back. You were so cool. Your quirk is amazing as well. Can you tell me about it? As Arjun would be, like, surprised that he has a real, like, fan, like a fanboy. As Arjun would then say, okay, kid. After getting up, after Deku had basically sucked up to him a bit, not trying to, but just basically did so, Arjun would then say, you got good taste, kid. As Arjun would then sign his notebook and look at a page of him. As Arjun would smile, he would then say, I like you, kid. I don't know what Kevin and Ben were talking about. As both Jin and Grace would then fist bump saying, that's one down. Just need one more. As Deku would then say, are you kidding? Your quirk's awesome! As Deku would then say, can I shake your hand, sir? As Arjun would then say, sure, kid. As Deku would then shake Arjun's hand, something would happen with the Omnitrix. As Arjun would scream, out of nowhere, there would be a giant rat-looking man, perfectly built and fit all over. As Deku would then say, what just happened? As the Omnitrix would then say, DNA repair successful. As Deku would then say, DNA repair? As Jin and Grace would then say, the Omnitrix can repair alien lifeforms' DNA. Whispering that to Deku so All Might and Mirio couldn't hear it. As Archit would then look at his body, with Deku saying, I'm sorry sir, I'll try and As Archit would then say, don't you dare. Thank you, kid. I approve of this relationship. You guys found the keeper. As Archit would just be so happy to, well, be young again. And if you're saying this isn't a feature of the Omnitrix, this is a feature of his Omnitrix. So, deal with it. And basically, that alien sample has gone to Archit at this point, so, yeah. As Archit would then run off saying, seriously kid, welcome to the family. As Deku would then blush a little bit, as Archit will ran off. The rest of them will just kept walking, with All Might being weirded out that they're all going to the same, well, area in the same direction. As they will be walking, they will get to a staircase with All Might saying, this is quite strange. Why are you following us? Deku, Jin, and Grace would say, I'm sorry, All Might. We were just told to go in this direction. We're not following you. As All Might would then say, oh, who are you meeting anyway? With Jin and Grace saying, we're here to meet our uncle. As All Might would then ask, who's your uncle? As they would say, as they would be interrupted by a woman on a pogo stick, jumping down and saying, Uncle Might. As All Might would catch her saying, Melissa. With everyone being shocked, with Mirio asking, hey All Might, who's this? As All Might would then say, this is Melissa, the daughter of the friend I was telling you about. As Mirio would then say, oh, nice to meet you, as he would then shake Melissa's hand. As All Might would then say, so, have you come to take us to your father? As Melissa would then say, yeah, but there were other people I was supposed to meet too. As she would then turn around seeing 3 other people, with Melissa saying, oh, you must be Jin, Grace, and Midoriya, is that correct? As Jin and Grace would then say, yep. You're to take us to Cooper? As Melissa would then say, yes. As All Might would then say, Cooper? Your uncle's Cooper? As Mirio would then say, the famous scientist and hero? As Grace and Jin would then say, yep. As Deku would be left shocked saying, Cooper? As they will all prepare to head to the lab, with Deku saying, wait, Cooper's your uncle? As Jin and Grace would then say, yep. With Melissa saying, yeah, he works here on I Island. As Deku would then say, this is gonna be so cool. And you are? I'm Melissa Shields. As Deku would then say, like Steven Shields? As she would then say, yep, my dad. And All Might would then say, that's the friend I've come here to meet. Looks like we're all going in the same direction, young Midoriya. As Deku would just be really nerding out, being so happy to finally meet, well, 2 of the biggest inspirations to him. As this was going on, Wolfram would then appear on I Island, preparing to enact the same plan as he had in the original canon, but along with someone new, Black Star. As the 2 would then stare at each other, then walk into I Island, ready to cause mayhem. In Cooper and Shield's lab, the 2 of them would be just talking, determining what they're going to do for the expo and so on and so forth. As they would be talking, Shield's assistant would then come in saying, we have a surprise for you 2, with Shields and Cooper wondering what the surprise being. As they would be wondering this, all of them would then shoot into the room, that being All Might, Jin, Grace, Deku, and Mirio, and Melissa. As Steven and Cooper would be very happy to see their respective friends and family, Steven would then notice that All Might is steaming a little bit. As he would then say, hey guys, how about you give me and All Might a little bit of time to ourselves, we have a lot to catch up on. With Cooper saying, yeah, and I have to catch up with the girls a bit. As Cooper and the rest would then leave All Might and Steven alone so they can talk. With All Might saying, thanks Steven. It was even hard to hold the transformation. As he would then say, no problem Toshi. As the 2 of them would then go off to do their thing, like in the original canon. We will cut back to Cooper and the rest of them, with both Jin and Grace hugging their uncle saying, it's good to see you Uncle Cooper, with him saying, it's good to see you girls too, I've missed you so much, as that he would hug them extremely tight. With Cooper then looking towards Midoriya, with him saying, you're Izuku Midoriya, right? I've heard a lot about you, and I have to say, before Cooper could get out another word, Deku would say, You're Cooper, the technology hero and the famous scientist. I'm such a huge fan. As he would then start to shake Cooper's hand up and down, with Cooper saying, "Oh, not very many people are a fan of me, especially as a hero," with Deku saying, "Your technopath quirk is incredible," as he would then blabber on about how incredible it was and all the possible applications for the quirk, with him then holding out a notebook to Cooper saying, "Can I have your autograph? I've always wanted to get your autograph." As he would then bow his head to Cooper, with Cooper saying, "Oh, sure. Not as bad as I thought Kevin and Ben said you would be." As he would then smile at Deku, with Deku being in awe about how he just got Cooper's autograph, with both Jin and Grace fist bumping and saying, "Man, Deku really knows how to win over people." As Jin would then say, "Yeah, he wins over people like that. It's also what made me fall for him," with Grace saying, "Same here." As they would then laugh at their nerdy boyfriend, with Deku saying, "What's so funny?" As Cooper would then say, "How about you guys go explore a bit? I still have work to do. We can catch up after." With Jin and Grace saying, "Sure," with Mirio, Melissa, and Deku following along with the two to explore the island. As they will be exploring the island, Melissa would then say, "Let me show you guys to a few places." As Jin would then say, "Sure, you live here. Let's go." As they would then go to explore a bit. As they would be exploring, Melissa would then take them to a building housing a bunch of inventions. As they would walk inside, they would see a suit that could let people propel into the deepest parts of the ocean, and a bunch of other fun little support items. As they will all just be hanging out of nowhere, Ochako would then appear, saying, "Hey you guys, it seems like you guys are having fun," with Jin and Grace saying, "Ochako, what are you doing here?" with Deku being a little bit shocked, saying, "Yeah, how'd you get here, Ochako?" with him smiling. As Ochako would then say, "Forget about that. How are you guys doing on your double date?" As Deku would be blushing, with Jin and Grace saying, "We're fine." As Mirio and Melissa would then look at one another, with Melissa saying, "Oh, we're not together." As Ochako would then say, "Sure you're not." As Mirio and Melissa would blush a little bit at this. As Jin would then say, "But anyway, how did you get here?" "I came here with Momo. Momo got a few tickets to the expo, so a few of us came with her," with Jin and Grace saying, "Oh, that's sweet. I wonder who else is here." As they will all just go walk off to the same cafe like they did in the original canon, with all the girls just talking and Momo, Jiro, and Ochako telling everyone who else is here, to their knowledge who else is here. As the guys would just be sitting down talking, with Deku, with Mirio saying, "So you're dating the both of them?" With Deku saying, "Yeah, they kind of decided it for me," with Mirio saying, "So do you not want it?" As Deku then say, "I didn't say that." As Deku, after this whole event, he's become a bit more confident in himself, with Mirio smirking at this statement. As both Mineta and Kaminari will appear behind the two of them, with them saying, "Hey guys, what's up?" As Deku will be shocked, saying, "You guys are here too?" As they will then say, "We got a job working here. So, we thought, why not make some money and have a little fun while at it?" With Mineta saying, "And also to see the hot babes," with him being still the same pervert as in the original canon. As all of them would group up together, with Jiro saying, "What are you doofuses doing here?" with them explain the same thing they did to Deku and Mirio. As Mineta and Kaminari would then ask, "What are you guys doing here?" with Deku saying, "We're headed to the expo today," with them saying, "You guys actually got into the expo? Oh man, that sucks," as Kaminari would utter, with Mineta saying, "Oh man, I'm so jealous. You'll get to see all the hot babes in there." With Deku sighing and having a sweat drop, with the girls just looking annoyed by him. As Kaminari would then say, "We have to get back to work anyway. We'll see you guys later, okay?" with them all waving as both Mineta and Kaminari went back to work. As the rest of the group will be left alone, Deku would then say, "You guys have anything else you want to do?" with Mirio saying, "I heard that there's a really cool obstacle course here. I want to give it a shot," with Deku saying, "That actually might sound like some fun," with Jin and Grace agreeing as well. With them preparing to leave, they would then say, I wonder who else is gonna show up. As they would then say that, Ida would then appear right in front of them saying, "Hello, my classmates," with Deku saying, "And Ida's here," with Jin saying, "How much you wanna bet we meet someone else at the obstacle course?" with Deku saying, "Hopefully not Bakugo," with them then hearing an explosion, and them hoping to God that that's not Bakugo, with Ida then tagging along with the rest of the group. As they would then head over to the obstacle course to compete, Jin, Grace, and Deku would then look at one another and prepare to go up to, well, compete for the best time, with Mirio coming up as well, with them asking the rest of the group if they want to give it a shot, with them all saying no and just leaving it to the four of them. As they would then see Todoroki there as well, with him being already in the ring. He would then put his hands to the ground, freezing all the robots like in the original canon of the movie, getting the same time of 14 seconds. As the rest of the game would see this, they would then take that as a challenge to beat Todoroki's score. With them all going up to Todoroki as he would be walking out, with Todoroki saying, "Hey, I didn't expect to see you guys here." With Jin, Grace, Deku saying, "We've seen a lot of our classmates here, it's kinda weird. Wonder if any other classes got in." With Todoroki saying, "You guys gonna compete?" With Deku, Jin, Grace, and Mirio saying, "Yep, and we plan on beating your score." With Todoroki saying, "You do, huh? Okay, let's see." As Grace would then go up first, with the announcer preparing to start for her, with her transforming into her stone armor with her mana maces, preparing to go in, and getting a time of 15 seconds, just a second below Todoroki's time. Because she has the super strength aspect, a bunch of long range attacks as well, and she's much faster. Next up we will have Jin. She would then prepare to slam down the Omnitrix, trying to get Accelerate, but getting royally screwed, getting Wrath. She would then make the best out of a bad situation, getting a score of 19 seconds. With Jin not being particularly happy with that time. Next up we will have Mirio. With his output of 1 for all, I would think by this point he would be at least 30%, 35 at most. And he would get a score of 9 seconds flat, being the best time thus far. And then next we will have Deku. As Deku would be down in the arena preparing to go for his time, he would think back to the USJ, and then he would pull up the Omnitrix preparing to use his alien fusion ability. He would then pull up preparing to transform the fusion between forearms and fast track. He would then slam down, with him not getting the right result, getting a mixture between pixie dust and amphibian. With all the girls looking and oohing and saying that's adorable, with Jin and Grace saying, "But I don't think that's what he meant to transform into," with everyone then agreeing with that statement. As Deku would then look at this transformation, the time would be going down on the clock by now, and he would make the best out of a bad situation, remembering Pixie Dust's ability, and then remembering Amphibian's electric ability, creating electric Pixie Dust, causing it to fall down on all the robots, causing them to malfunction, with Deku getting a score of at least 13 seconds, with at least 5 of those seconds being spent on just wondering what's up with the alien he got. As Deku would come back to the rest of the group, with Mirio being the obvious winner of the competition, but with Deku still being happy that he beat Todoroki's time. As everyone would start to leave out, with Melissa and Mirio going to her lab, with Melissa and Mirio leaving, with them going back to her lab because she had something to give to Mirio. Afterwards, Jin and Grace would then say, "It's time we enjoy the rest of our date with Deku," with them then leaving, with Ida saying, "What?" and Todoroki nodding in agreement, figuring that this would be the end result of the 3 of them, leaving all of them behind. As Ida would then say, "I have to go back to my family," with Todoroki saying, "Same here, I have stuff to do," leaving the 3 girls alone, so with them going about doing their own thing as well. As the date will commence, Deku and them would just be doing their normal thing, when Deku would then see the Godzilla ripoff and go to get his autograph, with Jin and Grace laughing at him, with their date just going into the evening. As their date would end, Grace would then mention that they had to get to the expo, with Deku then agreeing and them heading to their hotel rooms to prepare for the expo. As everyone else would be waiting for them, including Todoroki, Ida, Mineta, and Kaminari. They will all be waiting, wondering when they would show up, with Ida saying, "They're late, they should have been here 5 minutes ago." As he would say that, Deku would then end up running in, with Ida saying, "You're late, Midoriya," with Deku saying, "I'm sorry, it just took a while." With Ida saying, "Where are the others?" with Deku saying, "They should be here soon, they wanted to surprise me with their outfits." With Ida then saying, "Oh yeah, and Midoriya, I've been meaning to talk to you. How can you date the both of them? That is extremely low, Midoriya," with Deku waving his hand saying, "It was their idea." With Kaminari and Mineta saying, "You lucky dog," with Mineta crying anime tears. As this would happen, Jin and Grace would then come up behind Deku saying, "So, you regret it? Or do you not like dating 2 girls? With Deku saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I enjoy spending time with the both of you." With Jin and Grace saying, "Good. So don't act like you're being forced to do anything, got it?" With Deku nodding to Jin's words, with Grace smiling at him. As Deku would then pause for a moment, taking in both their dresses, he would then say, "You both look beautiful," with the 2 of them blushing and saying, "You look good too, Deku." With Deku saying, "Thanks," giving them $1 million smile. As both Kaminari and Mineta would just be crying in sadness. At this moment, Ochako, Jiro, and Momo would come up, all in the same dresses like in canon. Afterwards, Melissa and Mirio would come in, with Melissa still giving both Mineta and Kaminari the tickets like in canon so they could get in. As the group would all just meet up, preparing to go in for the expo. We would cut to All Might, Cooper, and Steven just talking, with them just catching up really. As they would be talking, Argent would then come up saying, "Hey Shields, Coops, what's up?" With Cooper asking, "What the hell happened to you?" with Argent saying, "Midoriya, for some reason the Omnitrix gave me back my dashing looks." With Cooper saying, "That Midoriya kid is something else." With All Might saying, "He sure is, he'll make a splendid hero." "And what do you want, rat face?" With Argent saying, "I just want to say hi to my friend." Later, Toothpick. With him then saying bye to Shields, going off to conversate with everyone else. With All Might then muttering, "I really don't like that guy." And if you didn't already catch it, All Might really doesn't care for Argent, even if he's the president. As Cooper would then say, "You just need to get to know him." With Steven saying, "You gotta go up there and make that speech or what?" With All Might then saying, "Oh fine," going up to prepare the speech. Going up to make the speech. As All Might would get to the podium, Wolfram would then come out, trapping All Might like in the original canon, with most of the events playing out the same way. As All Might would be captured, Argent would then walk up to them saying, "Hey guys," with Wolfram asking, "Who's this?" As Argent would then say, "You don't recognize the President of the United States?" As he would prepare to attack, but out of nowhere, a blast of black energy would hit Argent in the back, causing him to pass out. As the person we all know to be Blackstar would then come up saying, "You're lucky. His quills can knock out anyone with just a few of them. He would have taken you down there if it wasn't for me." With Wolfram saying, "Well, thank you." With Blackstar saying, "Let's get on with it already, Wolfram, so you can get what you came here for, and I can get what I came here for. So let's go grab Cooper and Stevens." As Wolfram would then say, "You don't need to tell me twice." As they would go to, kidnap Steven and Cooper. As they would then go to kidnap Steven and Cooper. Around this time, Midoriya, Jin, and the rest of them would all notice that they're on lockdown, with Deku saying, "I wonder what's going on," with them all looking towards Melissa, with her saying, "This shouldn't be happening right now," with Deku then suggesting to go check out what's going on, seeing if they can get the heroes for help. As All Might will be lying down restricted to the floor, He would then see a light flash in his eyes, seeing Midoriya. As Deku would be looking at All Might, All Might would then lean down saying, "I hope you can hear me, Midoriya." With All Might saying that everyone's being held hostage and villains have taken Cooper and Stevens, giving them basically the same explanation as in canon. With Jiro going to Deku saying, "This is bad, Midoriya." With Deku saying, "How bad?" As they would then go to report what they had to their group. As Jiro and Deku would have told everyone what was happening, Deku would then say, "We need to help." With Ida saying, "No, we have to let the heroes handle this. We can't play vigilante." As Deku would then go up to Ida, looking him in the face saying, "So, what are we supposed to do, Ida? Are we supposed to lie back and let them take Cooper and Stevens? Or steal whatever they came here to steal?" With Ida taken aback with how brazen Midoriya is being right now, Deku would then say, "Listen, Ida, Mr. Stevens or Cooper could be in danger, and we are the only ones that could do anything at this moment. We're training to be heroes right now, Ida. So what will you do right now? Will you wait and see what happens, or will you step up?" And if you guys are surprised about how Deku has stepped up confidence-wise, blame the two girls he's now dating. With Ida hearing Midoriya about this, he would then say, "Fine, but we have to be as careful as possible." With Deku saying, "Yeah." With all of them heading out now to, take back control of the building. As they will be running up the stairs, going floor by floor with them all getting really tired, when they will all stumble upon the staircase that's blocked off. With Deku saying, "How are we gonna get past this?" Melissa would then say, "Maybe I could get the door open?" With Jin saying, "I could just turn to Ghost Freak and phase through it." With Deku saying, "I don't have anything with phasing capabilities, but I could probably rip the door off with my stronger aliens." With Grace then saying, "I have no spells to get through." With her then asking, "Jin, can you make other people intangible as well?" With Jin saying, "I don't know, never tried." With Miria then coming saying, "I could just pass through the wall too, that's one of the powers of my quirk." With all of them just shooting around the ideas. With Mineta then saying, "Why don't we take the door on our left?" With him then opening it, sounding off an alarm throughout the entire building, alerting the villains to their presence in the building. As they will all be running through a greenhouse area, everyone will be looking at Mineta saying, "Nice job." With Mineta saying, "I didn't know that would happen." With him crying anime tears, with everyone glaring at him. As they will be running, they will hear an elevator coming down and decide to hide. As the elevator door would open, it will reveal two people. Those people being Captain Nemesis and Mojo. With them arriving and walking out of the elevator, with Nemesis saying, "On the security cameras it showed those kids. They must be hiding somewhere around here." With Rojo saying, "Let's just destroy them and get it over with. I'm ready for my payday." With Nemesis saying, With them yelling out saying, "We know you're hiding here, kids." With Deku and the rest of them thinking about walking out and just taking them head on. As Deku will be preparing to walk out, three people will walk ahead of him telling them, "You guys go stop them at the tower, we'll take care of them here." With Deku looking at them saying, "Are you sure?" With them walking over to the villains and saying, "We're sure." As Rojo and Nemesis will be looking at the kids approaching, Nemesis will then say, "That one looks familiar." With Rojo saying, "That's Tennyson's kid." With Jin then saying, "I know you two. You're the former hero, Captain Nemesis, and the villain, Rojo, right?" With Nemesis saying, "Yes, we are. And fate smiles upon us today. I get to destroy my Nemesis's kid." With Jin then saying, "You honestly think you can beat me? My dad's kicked your butt so many times." With Rojo saying, "Listen here, Missy. You picked the wrong time to play hero." With Todoroki and Mirio looking at them saying, "That's what we are though. Heroes." With Jin then saying, "Oh, I have an alien I want you to meet." With Nemesis saying, "I've seen all your father's transformations." With Jin then saying, "Yes, you have. So, do you remember this one? With Jin then turning into Wrath, with Nemesis getting flashbacks from when Wrath had him in a leg lock, as he would then say, "Not again," as the fight would break out between the 5 of them, with Deku and the rest running to go take back control over the building and free the heroes. As they would be running to save time, Deku would then transform into Arctic Guana, shooting an ice blast, creating a pillar, bringing everyone up. As they will be on the ice pillar going up, they will hop off to the bridge and start to run again. With them making their way through the corridor, smashing through the metal walls, Deku and the rest will come to an area that they couldn't get through, only being able to go through if someone was small enough, with Mineta finally making himself useful and crawling through the small hatch to let them in. As everyone else would get in, they would say, "Good job, Mineta," with Mineta getting all cocky for a minute there, saying, "What would you guys do without me?" With Deku then quipping, "We wouldn't have been caught," with Mineta then getting depressed again, with everyone laughing, then running off to take care of the villains. As they would make their way through one of the rooms, a tidal wave of robots would start attacking them, with the robots coming to, well, capture them, so they can't stop the villains. As the robots would approach, Denki would then step up and go stupid, using his all-out electrical attack, like in the original canon of the film, with that doing nothing because the robots are resistant, with him going stupid. As the robots would then catch Denki, with Deku then seeing this transforming into Upchuck, going after the robots, destroying them, and eating them and shooting energy blasts at them to destroy them. And Jin using her monoballs with spikes on them to destroy the robots faster. As they will all make their way out of this area after getting Denki free from the robots, they will all commence with their journey back up to stop the villains. They will appear in another room, but this time it will be infested with the robots, with Grayson saying, "Deku, Melissa, you guys go stop them. We'll handle these," with Deku saying, "Are you sure?" with Grayson saying, "Of course I'm sure, now go," with Deku and Melissa then heading out to, well, again, stop the villains, with Jiro saying, "Are you sure that was a good idea?" Midoriya was the heavy hitter, with Grayson saying, "I'm a heavy hitter too," with them all deciding, well, defeat the robots. Back with Jin and the rest, she will be completely whooping Nemesis and Rojo with help of Todoroki and Mirio. As they will be getting beat back, Nemesis will have finally had enough of this, with Jin, Todoroki, and Mirio backing away, with Nemesis saying, "You've made me use this, my Tekkadan warrior," with Jin then saying, "Be careful guys, these things adapt to any battle they're in, so watch out," with Mirio saying, "Got it," with Rojo and Nemesis saying, "Let the machine destroy him," with Rojo saying, "You don't have to tell me twice," with the two of them backing off to let the Tekkadan warrior fight. As the warrior would begin to charge at them, Mirio would then say, "I got this," with him seeping into the floor, coming up and attacking the Tekkadan warrior with a 20% smash, sending it flying away. As Mirio would press his advantage, the Tekkadan warrior would then see him coming. As the Tekkadan warrior would swing at Mirio, it would pass through him, but shockingly, after the second swing, he will be able to grab Mirio even though he activated his intangibility. And the Tekkadan warrior would then slam Mirio into the ground as hard as he possibly could, preparing to use an energy blast at him until a wave of ice would hit him, sending him flying back, with Mirio then jumping back to his feet saying, "Thanks Todoroki," with him saying, "No problem." As the Tekkadan warrior will begin to charge at them, Jin will then say, "Let's end this," with her then turning into Jerry Rig, attacking the Tekkadan warrior and disassembling it into almost nothing except for her head, leaving both Mirio and Todoroki shocked, with Jerry Rig just smiling. As both Nemesis and Rojo would come back, preparing to attack Jin in her lesser alien transformation, but before they could even get their attacks off, she would then transform into Franken Shock, sending electricity coursing through them, destroying their technology and causing them to pass out. And if you were wondering what quirks they have, Nemesis has a strength boosting quirk that's augmented by his suit that he wears, and Mojo can just, well, hijack technology and integrate it into herself to make her stronger. After Jin would have electrocuted them, they will all then go decide to get back together with the rest of their team, with Jin then saying, "You guys ready?" with them then nodding and running off with her. As both Deku and Melissa will be running, Deku would then look up to an area where they go. He would then transform into Jet Ray, picking her up and flying her into the building with him. As they will be running down the corridor, they will then hear something and stop in their tracks for a moment. Back with the rest, they will have destroyed all the robots and went to go catch up with the rest of them. Around this time, Steven and his assistant will have gotten back his ignition, with Steven then saying, "I can finally get this back. I can give it to Toshi." With Cooper then saying, "What's going on, Steven?" With him then giving the explanation that he did in canon about why they wouldn't let him use his quirk amplification device. With Cooper then saying, "You did all this so you could get that, so you could steal that." With him then saying, "The villains aren't real, this was just a show." With Blackstar then saying, "Huh." With him then walking up to Cooper, holding him by the collar and saying, "Give me the pendant, Cooper." With Cooper then saying, "I don't know what you're talking about." With Blackstar then backhanding Cooper in the face saying, "Don't play with me. Give me the pendant, or else." With Steven saying, "What's going on here?" With Cooper then saying, "You idiot. These are real villains." With Stevenson saying, "What?" With Blackstar then holding him up even higher saying, "I will give you to the count of 3. With Cooper then saying, "Fine." With him then going and grab the pendant, handing it to Blackstar. As Blackstar would see the pendant, he would then rip off the chain and attach the pendant to the center of his chest. As this would be going on, energy would then start to engulf Blackstar's body, as he would then smile and saying, "Thank you, Cooper." As both Melissa and Deku would come out revealing themselves, with Melissa having the same conversation with her father like in the original canon, being disappointed in his actions. With Deku then saying, "You're not gonna get away with this." With Blackstar then saying, "Of course we are, kid." As this would be going on, the energy would then start to engulf Blackstar even more. He would then take off his helmet saying, "Really? Thank you, Cooper," with both Melissa and Deku being shocked by his appearance. As the energy would then start to pour into Blackstar's body even more, he would start to glow gold, transforming back into his original state. With him then saying, "This power," being extremely excited to finally not look like a zombie on crack. I had to say it, because that's what he looked like. But anyway, sidetracked. Blackstar would then say, "Thank you, Cooper," as you would then punch Cooper in the stomach, sending him flying back. As this would be going on, Wolfram would then come out of nowhere saying, "Good, now hand over the device," with the assistant then saying, "Fine," with Steven still being shocked by his assistant's betrayal, with Wolfram then saying, "You did good," as he would then pull out a gun to, well, shoot the assistant after he had gotten the device. But Deku would then transform into Fast Track, getting the assistant out of the way of the bullet, and going to attack Wolfram. But as he would do this, Wolfram would then use his metal abilities to shoot a metal pillar into Deku's chest, causing him to be sent flying back. As Wolfram would then say, "Blackstar, you finish this," with him then saying, "Gladly," with him then holding out his hand, focusing a golden energy beam, shooting it at all of them, causing a massive explosion to go off, with the two of them saying, "Good riddance," with both Wolfram and Blackstar grabbing Stevens and taking him away. Back with everyone else, after the explosion, it will be revealed that it was Cannonballs that took the brunt of the attack, with Melissa, the assistant, and Cooper all being really safe. As Deku would then say, "You guys, go free the heroes. I'll go take care of them." With Cooper saying, "Kid, don't." With Deku saying, "I'm the only one that can." With Deku then deciding to roll out to go take care of Black Star and Wolfram on his own. As he'll be running through the corridors, both Mirio and Jin will have caught up to him. With Deku then saying, "You guys took care of yours?" With them saying, "Yeah." With him then informing them about the situation as they will be running to take on Black Star and Wolfram. As Wolfram and Black Star are preparing to take off in the helicopter, both Deku, Mirio, and Jin will then come out of nowhere saying, "You're not going anywhere." With Wolfram then saying, "Brats. Let's take care of them." Until they will hear a voice saying, "Not so fast, villains. You wanna know why? Because I am here," with All Might appearing before all of them. With Wolfram then taking out the device, putting it on him to take care of All Might. With Wolfram then saying, "You handle the brats. I have him." With Black Star then saying, "Fine," as Black Star will go off to fight Jin and Deku. With All Might fighting Wolfram. Mirio will then say, "Mind if I help you, All Might?" With All Might then saying, "Gladly." With them then both stepping towards Wolfram and Black Star are getting ready to fight the other two. As Deku will then transform into Four Arms, with Jin then transforming into Crash Hopper. With Grace then popping up saying, "Don't leave me out of the fun," with her preparing to fight with both Deku and Jin. Then the battle would begin, with All Might and Mirio going up against Wolfram, having the battle play out extremely similar to the one with Deku in the original canon, but going a little bit better because of Mirio's quirk and abilities. And for added context, he is losing his clothes and he has the gauntlet. So, that picture's in your head. And with the fight with Black Star, Deku, Jin, and Grace, it will just be beginning now. With Grace putting up shields to block Black Star's attacks, while both Deku and Jin will deliver hard hits and kicks, with Grace lending long-range support to keep the pressure on Black Star. But he will be mostly shrugging these off, overpowering them little by little. As the fight will cool down for a brief minute so they can all get a breather, Black Star will then say, "You must be Lovely Gwen's daughter." With Grace saying, "How do you know my mom?" Black Star would then say, "Lovely Gwen. Her energy always tasted great." With Grace being a little bit creeped out by this, and Jin saying, "What a weirdo." Black Star will prepare to attack, but out of nowhere, both Deku and Jin's Omnitrixes would time out, with them reverting back to human. With Black Star seeing this thing, he would then aim an energy blast at Deku, causing him to be sent flying into a pile of rubble. As Jin and Grace would see this, they would then run to Deku, with him saying, I'm fine," as he would then pass out from the strain and the pain. With both Jin and Grace looking at this with absolute worry in their eyes, with Grace saying, "What the hell did you just do?" And Jin just getting super pissed off. Out of nowhere, her Omnitrix would start to glow, responding to her emotional state. As they would then look at Black Star, he would then say, "I crushed the pest. Now I need to finish the other two." With them looking at Black Star and hearing what he just said, the both of them would then lose it, with Grace putting her hands down to the ground and letting her mana flow throughout her, and with Jin looking at the alien that just popped up in her watch. She would then slam it down as both of them would release a flash of green light, with both of them transforming, with Grace absorbing steel, and with NRG being unlocked in Jin's Omnitrix. As Black Star would see this, he would then say, "Bring it. I want to test my power even more." As they would then go to attack him, but Jin would then unlock NRG's suit, releasing her to her nuclear state. And Grace would then make steel maces covered in energy, as they would then come charging at Black Star, smacking him around like a ragdoll for a large period of time and hitting him with Energy Blast. As Blackstar would take this, he would be getting even more powerful as he absorbed energy from the amulet, or pendant, or whatever. As he would get this energy, he would grow more powerful, blasting them away so they couldn't attack him anymore, then transforming even further, with his gold energy now permeating throughout his entire body, with the amulet, or whatever, still being in the center of his chest, saying, "Bring it! More!" As they would then go to attack, but Blackstar would then both hit them with 2 golden energy spears, sending them flying back and in serious condition. As they would be getting hammered down by Blackstar's energy blast, or at this point Goldstar's energy blast, they would be just holding on by a hair because he's just too powerful at this point. Over with the unconscious Deku, he would finally wake back up. He would then stand back up looking at both Jin and Grace as they would be in trouble. As he would be looking at the two of them, he would then think, "What do I have left? He's just too powerful at this point. My transformations that I have right now won't hold a candle." As he would be thinking about this, the Omnitrix would then pop up saying, "You have unlocked Ultimate." With Deku saying, "What?" As he would then look at the Omnitrix, he would then say, "Ben told me about this Ultimate." As he would then remember back to what Ben told him about the Ultimate transformations, how it basically evolves your aliens to make them more powerful. Back with Jin and Grace, they would still be battling out with Grace's shield about to collapse and break. Deku would then say, "They need me over there." As he would then look down at the Omnitrix, slamming down the first alien he saw, transforming into Cannonbolt, then hitting his Omnitrix, transforming into Ultimate Cannonbolt. As the Omnitrix would then say, "You have unlocked a new mode. Which one would you like to use? Omni Variant or Omni Enhance?" As Deku would then say, Omni Enhance? As the Omnitrix would then glow, with an energy pouring out of Ultimate Cannonbolt's body, with Deku saying, "Not bad," as he would then go into his ball form and start rolling towards both Jin and Grace to help them out in the battle. He would then come slamming into Goldstar, sending him flying back, with both Jin and Grace saying, "Deku?" As he would then say, "Yeah," with Grace saying, "Nice new form," with Jin saying, "That's Ultimate and something's different. The energy it's emitting, it's incredible," with Deku saying, "They call it Omni Enhanced, but we don't have time for that. Let's take him down," with them saying, "We don't have any more energy left in the tank," with Deku saying, I got it then," with Deku then going to fight Goldstar, as the two of them would then de-transform. He would then square off against Goldstar with Goldstar saying, "Puny little child, I have ultimate power now," with Deku saying, "That's funny, my transformation's ultimate, so," with him quipping right there, with Blackstar getting annoyed by the joke. Blackstar would then send an energy blast straight at Deku, with Deku going into his ball form and rolling through the energy blast, but it would be still pushing him back and causing damage. As Goldstar would then say, "There's some more power I can receive," as he would then absorb more of the crystal's energy into himself, the amulet, whatever it's called. He would then change color, with the energy now flowing from him like a river, with Deku saying, "I need to get that amulet away from him," as he would then try and go to his ball form, but Morningstar, I'm just gonna say Morningstar from now on, would then send him flying back, causing him to go careening into some rubble. As he would then stop himself from going through more rubble, he would then say, "I have to finish this," with both Jin and Grace saying, "You can do it," as Deku would then roll back into the battle, with the two of them with Morningstar just shooting Deku and him defending with Ultimate Cannonbolt. And note this is the last of the energy he has, so no other transformations at this point. Morningstar would then finally decide to end the battle, charging up an extremely high energy blast at Deku. Deku would then go full throttle into the energy blast, with him being pushed back step after step after step, but he would then get into his bearings, letting loose all the energy he had, pushing forward, step step by step, as he would then collide with Morningstar, with a huge burst of energy from both parties would then be sent flying out, causing Morningstar to be sent flying into the ground, and causing a huge explosion afterwards. Deku would then fall to the ground out of Ultimate Cannon Bolt and Omni Enhanced mode as well. Deku would then get up saying, "Oh, did we take him down?" With both Jin and Grace looking over their shoulders to make sure Morningstar was taken down. As they would then see, he would then come flying out of the ground saying, "Is that the best you insects can do? This is true power. This is my power." As he would prepare to finish them off, Deku, Jin, and Grace would prepare to fight even though it's inevitable. But out of nowhere, Charmcaster would appear, with her saying, "Hello, Michael," with Morningstar saying, "Hello, Charmcaster. This is true power, Charmcaster. This is what I deserve." With Charmcaster saying, "You know who that amulet belongs to. It's mine. Now hand it back, Michael." With Michael then saying, "Never. I will finally be able to destroy my enemies. I will finally not have to worry about my hunger. And now I will destroy you." As she would then say, "I told you that amulet's mine. If you won't give it to me, I'll take it." As the amulet will then come flying towards Charmcaster's hand, with Michael saying, "Whatever. I have enough power to destroy you and take it back." With Charmcaster saying, "Right, you stole the power in this too." As she would then hold it towards Michael, Morningstar, absorbing the energy back from it. As he would then say, What's going on?" As the energy would be taken from him, leaving him to look like, well, the zombie on crack we all love to hate. As he would then say, "No!" As he would then prepare to charge at them again. But Cooper would then come out of the corner saying, "Hey, Black Star, how does it feel?" With him then saying, "Cooper!" With him, Cooper then saying, "Did you honestly think I would have Charmcaster's amulet and not tell her that you came here to steal it?" As Charmcaster would then say, "I should never left this here anyway." With Cooper then saying, "Sorry, Charm." With Blackstar finally losing his temper and finally coming to charge at Cooper. But at this point, Grace would have had enough, saying, "That's enough of this." As she would then come charging at Blackstar, elbowing him in the back, grabbing his arm and flipping him, slamming him onto the ground as hard as humanly possible. With Cooper then saying, "Whoa." With Deku then saying, "Whoa," as well. With Charmcaster saying, "I like this one." As Charmcaster would walk up to everyone, she would then say, "Nice work holding him off. I'm going to have to take this back home." With Cooper then saying, "Sorry, Charm, about this." With her then saying, "It's fine, Cooper. You wanted to do something good, but you ended up doing something bad with this." With Deku then saying, "Why was that here anyway?" With Cooper then saying, "I want to make a sustainable energy source for people. It's not good all over the world, kids." With Deku then saying, an understanding of what Cooper was trying to do. As Charmcaster would then look at Grace saying, "You're Gwen's kid, right?" With Grace then saying, "Yeah, nice to meet you." With Charmcaster then saying, "Yeah. I like you, kid. If you ever want to learn magic from me, come to my domain. I can teach you some stuff your mom doesn't even know." With Grace then saying, "Really?" With Charmcaster smiling and saying, "Of course." With Grace then saying, "I might take you up on that offer then." With her then saying, An apprentice. I've always wanted one." With Charmcaster then turning around to Cooper saying, "Well, I'm going to go take this back home. Later, Coop." As she would then lean forward, kissing Cooper on the lips, and leaving out. And that's right, Cooper got one. As she would then leave, Jin, Grace, and Deku would look at Cooper, with Cooper saying, "Don't tell anyone about this, especially Gwen." As Grace would then say, "You're dating Charmcaster." With Deku saying, "Yeah, even I've heard about her." But somehow mysteriously vanished. With Cooper then saying, "She's not all bad." But please don't tell your parents. I don't want anyone to know about this yet. With Jin and Grace then smiling, saying, "You know what we want." As Cooper would then sigh, saying, "I'll send you to your house when you get back home, okay?" With both Jin and Grace high-fiving, and Deku wondering what they just blackmailed him out of. As the battle would finally conclude, Ochako, Ida, Todoroki, Momo, and the rest would then come up, seeing Jin, Deku, and Grace, with them all just hugging them and making sure they're okay. Back with Mirio and All Might, both Mirio and Melissa would just be hugging each other after the events that just happened, after he had saved her father and everyone else. With All Might and Steven looking at Mirio, with Steven then seeing what he saw in Deku in the previous canon in Mirio, someone that could take up the mantle of the next symbol of peace. As Deku would be talking with his friends and making sure everyone's okay, he would then look at his Omnitrix and notice that it's glowing a weird color. Blue and yellow? As he would then be confused by this, he would then put that in the back of his mind and go off with the rest of his friends. And that is it, my Majin Buu crew. This has been What Does Deku Have the Omnitrix Part 2 of the 4K special, and a video you guys have been waiting a long time for. I'm sorry it took me so long, but I'm happy to finally get it to you. Seriously, this took me long, 4 months. Ooh, I'm sorry you guys. It's just been work, and more work, and schoolwork and stuff like that. And sometimes I wasn't all there, but I'm glad I finally got you guys a video. And for everything else, I'm gonna start posting again soon. I'm not sure how I'm gonna work out my schedule, but I'm gonna try and get you guys at least one video every 2 weeks. I'm gonna try and go back to my old schedule, at least one video every week, but it's gonna be difficult, you guys. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I would like to thank Ray the Otsutsuki for these images. Like, seriously, man, these are good. Ooh. They really inspired me to do this, the movie, and all that. But I'm really glad I got this to you guys. Really. There will be a poll up on my community tab for the next video I put out. I know a lot of people want Campfire. I know a lot of people want the Son of Mirako. But we're gonna need to see you guys. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Really, comment down below if you've gotten to this part. Omni Energy. Or just comment down below Cannon Bolt. Maybe Ultimate Cannon Bolt. Yeah, Ultimate Cannon Bolt. Comment that down below. And what else do I have to say? That's pretty much it. And this has been King Majin signing out, saying, I love Ben 10, happy birthday. Peace.